JFD, just fair and direct.
Okay, hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Tea Time with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today is the 9th of April 2021. So yep, welcome everyone. Welcome to this Friday's quick afternoon session where we're going to have a look at the markets, a few of the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimers. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest and we can continue. Okay, so now then, also just before we jump into the charts, as always, quick mentioning of our JFD YouTube channel, to which you can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of our upcoming videos, and of course our JFD Bank website, and specifically our JFD research page, which we also update on a daily basis. So yeah, feel free to visit us here on jfdbank.com and click on the research tab right there on the top, guys. So now then, jumping into the charts, the first one I want to pick up here is the German DAX. So the index is kind of moving sideways, to be honest. I mean, it's still in the same region, same area that I spoke about, and as you can see, let me just drag this one back to the upside here. There we go. So basically today it's just stuck here and it's not doing much, and as kind of expected, it might even stay like this for the remaining day. We did have a few swings here, up and down, but it kind of stayed within the range, the trading range of the previous day. So unless it pushes above the 15,248 zone here, or drops below the actually even below the current lowest point of this week near the 15,144 territory, then yes, it could become a little bit more interesting. But at the moment, it's just moving sideways and within the range of the within the trading range of the previous day. So that's why we're kind of still let's say on the neutral side, and we're leaving this one for maybe next week then. But it will be very interesting to see if we actually do get a push either above the 15,248 zone here, or drop below the 15,144 territory. So keep your eyes on that one. The FTSE 100, quick update here. The index did drift lower today initially, but as you can see, this barrier, the one that I talked about previously, the one which we were looking at as a good resistance area, which if gets broken could open the door towards higher levels. Now it's acting as a good area of support. So yep, everything's kind of in line in a way with the idea that I've mentioned this morning as well, that even if we see a retracement here back down, if this hurdle, if this area, support area, does provide good support, then yes, a good hold up, then yes, another push higher could be possible. If you're a little bit more on the cautious side, then what you could do here is keep your eyes on today's high near the 6,950 territory, approximately around there. A nice good push above it would confirm a forthcoming higher high, and yep, higher levels could be met. But if by any chance the index today drifts and ends the day below this area, below this highlighted area, well, I mean, then maybe we could see a bit of a corrective move here to the downside going into next week. Dow Jones Industrial Average. So, looking at the picture here, you can see that yesterday the index closed slightly in the positive territory. So, yep, good news for the buyers. However, if we take a look at the cash index right now and where the price is currently sitting at, we'll see that the price, and let me just kind of stretch this in this chart here a little bit. So currently the index is trading around the 33,579 territory, so not far from the all-time high, which was reached this week, and of course it's above the yesterday's close. So basically a lot of things here are pointing to a possible move higher. However, I'll also keep your eyes on the on this barrier right here, the current all-time high, because if we push higher and if we break this level, it's certainly, yes, of course, this may attract more buyers. This would confirm a forthcoming higher high, but then it will be interesting to see if we could actually see the daily candle staying above this area, because if it doesn't stay, then we'll just get ourselves a very nice false breakout, which could result in a bit of a decline going into next week. But again, still the decline could be still seen as a temporary correction, because we're currently trading still above this upside support line taken from the low of the 4th of March. Now, in a way, for now, like I said, this is the game plan for this index. Yes, if we pop above the 33,618 territory, yes, this confirms a forthcoming higher high. But if the index continues to stay and trade above this hurdle, yes, this is where will remain positive. But if by any chance the index today drifts back down and falls below this and stays below this 33,618 territory, then we could go for a bit of a corrective move here to the downside. Similar story here with the NASDAQ 100, but here, yes, it's also approaching the current all-time high. Let me just double check this very quickly. So that's the chart that we're seeing here. So yeah, we're approaching the all-time high again. This is a monthly chart. But yeah, be very careful here, guys. We also could see a similar situation where we could see maybe a pop above this area, above this barrier, the 13,880 zone, and then maybe a drift back down. However, looking at the cash index right now, we can see that the price is trading at around 13,713 mark. So basically, it's below yesterday's close, but still above this key important, well, previously looked at as a resistance area, now will be looked at as a support, this 13,698 territory right here. We're still above it on the cash index, so yep, there is still a chance for the bulls to step in here, but of course, keep your eyes on that hurdle, and yes, if we remain above that hurdle, then we could continue targeting the upside. But if it suddenly starts dropping below it, then maybe, just maybe, we're kind of maybe due for a bit of a corrective move here to the downside. So let me just put the highlighted area right here. That's what I'm going to be keeping an eye on, and yep, there we go. So yeah, if it drops below it, then I'll consider maybe a bit of a corrective move here to the downside. But we'll pick up on this if we see that move, and I'll reevaluate this again next week. Now jumping into DXY dollar index, quick update. Oh, by the way, in terms of economic data, we did get the U.S. Should have got the US PPI numbers, unless they have been delayed a little bit, but it seems that the economic calendar doesn't. Let me just double check it very quickly again. Yep, it seems that we don't have the core PPI figures from the US, in about 4 minutes we'll have the headline PPI figures, but I'll pick up on that, guys, in a bit. So yep, but looking at this picture for now, you can see that, for example, well, actually, let me just bear with me one moment, guys. So yeah, the PPI figures are not out yet, so we're waiting for those, but you can see that DXY is pushing higher again. It's overcoming the 21-day EMA, the one that I spoke about this morning. But even if it travels further north here, still, guys, I mean, we do have a downside line here, that a downside line at 200-day EMA here, and this barrier right here to overcome the upside. But at the moment, any move kind of higher here up until this downside line could still be considered as a temporary correction before another possible leg of selling, so keep that in mind. but still, if you're a little bit more on the careful and cautious side, in order to consider the downside, you could wait for a drop below the 92 territory right here. That's going to be a little bit of a safer bet here, and then yes, go for lower areas. Silver. So silver is declining today, however, still remains above this downside line taken from the high of the 1st of February. And as I've mentioned this week, for me to get comfortable with the upside, I needed to see the daily candle staying above the 25.46 territory right here. You can see that yesterday we've violated that that line, but we failed to stay above it. We pushed, yes, we pushed higher, but you can see that the bears kind of pushed the commodity back below this hurdle, and that's the result we're getting today. We're seeing a bit of a decline here, move back towards this downside line. So let's see now if this downside line actually acts as a good support area. Now, we've seen this happening many times with other instruments where, for example, USDCAD, which I'll get to in a bit, where it kind of drifts lower but still above the downside line, and kind of then this downside line still acts as a nice trampoline here, and then we see the instrument kind of the asset kind of moving higher. Nevertheless, I would still prefer to wait for a push up of the 25.46 territory. The daily candle staying above this area, yes, could do the trick for more buyers. Quick update on Ethereum, and pushing higher again, approaching this 2,144 territory, which continues to provide resistance. So if we finally get that daily candle climbing and staying above this area, then of course this, yes, opens the door towards higher levels, because a push above this and a push above the 2,150 territory, yes, will confirm a forthcoming higher high and place the crypto into the uncharted territory, and well, then the sky's the limit for that one. But again, for now, guys, the idea didn't really work out here. I have to admit that we did have a slide lower here, and everything was kind of working out nicely. We had a nice we had the daily candle staying below the 1981 zone, but this is what we got here, and we saw the crypto kind of reversing back to the upside. So we have to admit that only half of the idea worked out. We saw the initial decline, but I was kind of hoping that we'll see a bit more declines here, at least towards this upside line. But yep, as you can see, we started reversing back to the upside. Now the 2,150 territory is back on the table. If we get a clear break above it, this will confirm a forthcoming higher high, and more buyers could join in. Now jumping into EURUSD, and let me just quickly double check the information, the data. Did it come out or did it not? Okay, still, still waiting for those PPI figures. Nope, nothing is coming out yet. Now, in terms of EURUSD, so I've picked up on this pair recently, and basically the pair did drift lower, did drop below the 0.7088 territory. I spoke about this level this week, and look at this perfect touch of this upside support line taken from the low the 20th of October. Now, again, let's see if this is going to continue to hold, if this upside line will continue to hold. If it does, yes, a nice reversal back up here could be possible. However, as I mentioned before this week, that in order for me to, let's say, start looking at the upside again, well, maybe I would actually prefer to wait for a push above this barrier right here, the 0.7144 zone, and then yes, higher levels could be met. But if this upside line gets broken, yes, this increases the chances for this pair to drift lower. However, I would still prefer to wait for a drop below this area right here, the 0.6881 zone right here, and then kind of aim for lower levels. But at the moment, we are kind of stuck here. So yes, we are still trading above this upside line, so the trend is still to the upside. But in order for me, like I said, to get comfortable with higher levels again, I would like to see a push above the 0.7144 territory. USDCAD. Now, this one is an interesting one because, well, first of all, apart from, well, PPI figures that I'm kind of still waiting on, but we did get the employment figures from Canada, so employment change number improved quite significantly, I would say. The forecast was at 100K. It came out slightly above 300K, so that's great news. Unemployment rate dropped from 8% to 7.5, so that's also great news. Participation rate also improved. So yep, in a way, a lot of positivity here from the Canadian job numbers, and yep, you can see the result here. You can see that we are drifting here to the downside a little bit. Initially, we did push higher, but yeah, now we're kind of the downside scenario is picking up here in the short run for today only, because overall, I mean, not overall, but for now, since around, like, let's say the end of March, we keep oscillating around that 21-day EMA and just kind of not really doing much. And if you remember, I had a level here around 1.2590, which I've just removed actually because that's no longer working out, so we have to kind of readjust all the time when it stops working. So now what I'm going to be doing here in order to consider the upside, well, I mean, probably somewhere a push above somewhere above this 1.2630 zone, approximately around here, might just might do the trick here for more buyers, especially if the daily candle stays above this area. But if it continues to trade somewhere around here, I'm gonna remain neutral. And now in terms of the downside, now previously I talked about this level here, the 1.25 zone, or should I say 1.2505, approximately around here. But when we were still kind of back in the end of March here, it kind of made sense because a nice good drop below this, might open the door towards lower areas. But as you can see, it's kind of shifting further. It shifted further to the right here, the chart. Now, in a way, if at this point in time, I might readjust this level later on. Getting kind of destroyed this week, I would say. Well, actually, maybe not destroyed, but it's very much on the weaker side. First of all, I would need to probably redraw everything here because certain levels kind of worked out, kind of didn't, so that's why probably a fresh start here would be required. Now let me just remove the drawings here and have a new look here. First of all, we can see that the short-term trend right now is to the downside. We're trading lower here. We're trading below this downside line taken from the high of the 24th of February. So yep, kind of it's pretty much clear. We aren't below the 21-day EMA. We're slowly approaching this 100-day EMA, and of course, the more important thing here is to keep an eye on the lowest point of March, which is roughly around the 1.3671 territory here, which got tested today. And well, now the big question here is, can we see a drop below this area? Well, I mean, for now, I would say that in order to consider the downside, yes, we need that drop. We need that break below the 100-day EMA, and then yes, further declines could be possible towards the 200-day EMA. But if it doesn't, then yep, we could see a nice reversal back to the upside here. However, for the upside, still a break of this downside line would be needed in combination with a push above the 1.391920 territory, approximately around here, and then yep, we could go for the upside. At the moment, guys, let's be very careful. Yes, on one hand, we could maybe even see a potential descending triangle here. However, it's not an ideal one. For now, it's just a downside line here with a nice area of support near the 1.3671, which if gets broken, yep, will confirm a forthcoming lower low, and further declines could be possible. EURUSD. So EURUSD drifted lower. This is what I talked about this morning, if you remember, guys, that even if we get a drop below this 1.19 1.1881 territory. Still, there is a chance for the bulls to step in somewhere near this 21-day EMA. So let's see if that's going to happen. We're slowly approaching that EMA. If it holds, yes, good news for the buyers. We could see this one reversing back to the upside. However, and especially if the rate also climbs back above the 1.1881. If it does that, then yes, we'll go for the upside again. But if it doesn't, if it stays somewhere around here, but still above the 200-day EMA, we'll take a bit of a neutral stand, because again, maybe all the action will come in next week. But for the downside, what I need here in order to be a little bit more comfortable with lower areas, I need to see a drop below the 1.18 territory right here, and then we'll take it from there, guys. So that's it for this session. I hope you found it useful, guys. Thank you very much for watching and listening. I hope you'll have a fantastic remaining trading day today. I'll have a wonderful weekend as well. Try to relax as much as you can. Get fresh, clear up your head, and come back fresh on Monday and join me on my Traders Espresso. As always, 6 o'clock GMT time. But for now, guys, have a wonderful evening, stay safe, and I'll see you later. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.